Something very strange is happening at Home Depot. They are angering even their most loyal customers. In just the first few months of the year, America's largest building materials chain introduced a series of controversial changes. These policies make things difficult for buyers, sophisticated money-making strategies, along with decisions that have prompted a wave of carpenters to speak out. This is no longer the Home Depot we once knew. And when you put all these pieces together, you'll see a much bigger picture. Is Home Depot still serving construction workers, or are they serving investors on Wall Street? And are these just a few minor changes, or are they signs that their entire business model is transforming? Today we will explore the truth behind these controversial changes. If you ever walked into a Home Depot store 10 or 15 years ago, the experience was pretty simple. Do you need wood? Need a drill? Do you need screws, cement, a saw, or a pile of materials to build an entire house? Yes, there is too. Home Depot is like a builder's and carpenter's paradise, but now things are changing pretty fast. Currently, Home Depot is the third largest retailer in the U.S., behind only Walmart and Costco, with over 2,000 stores nationwide. The problem is that once you've grown that big opening, a new store hardly makes much sense anymore. The market is almost saturated. So what do large corporations typically do? When they can't expand further, they started selling more things. If you look closely, Home Depot now sells more than just wood hammers and drills. You can see everything from Halloween decorations and kitchenware to bizarre items that even a carpenter looking at would ask, "Why is this sold here?" Not only that, they also changed sales policies, promoted their own credit cards, acquired billions of dollars worth of building materials companies, all with one goal in mind: to increase revenue from the same store system. Meanwhile, their biggest rival Lowe's is also racing in a similar direction. But these very changes are leading many to ask a rather uncomfortable question. Is Home Depot still serving construction workers? Or are they serving investors? And there's a recent new policy that has really angered a lot of carpenters. We'll talk about that shortly. Oh, and if you enjoy videos that delve into the business behind the scenes of large corporations like this, you might consider subscribing to the channel because we have so many interesting stories ahead. Now we're talking about the part that really infuriates a lot of carpenters and builders. That's Home Depot's new return policy. Previously, if you bought a large appliance like a refrigerator, washing machine, or building supplies, you typically had about 30 days to return it. Not overly generous, but enough to check if everything is working properly. But now, only 48 hours left. 2 days, that's all. That sounds reasonable if you buy a blender. But for carpenters, builders, or project workers, things are completely different. Imagine this. You are a carpenter. You are working on a kitchen renovation project. You stop by Home Depot to buy a refrigerator for a customer. You bring it back to the construction site. But the work is still unfinished. The kitchen cabinets weren't installed, the electrical system wasn't finished, so the refrigerator was set aside. 3 days later, when everything is ready, you open the box to install it, and then you discover it's faulty. But what about now? 48 hours have passed. Sorry, no more returns or exchanges. Many construction workers say that this policy is like a game where the loser is almost always the customer. And interestingly, Home Depot isn't the only company doing this. Lowe's and even Walmart are tightening their return policies for large appliances. It seems the entire retail industry is trying to reduce return shipping costs at all costs. But the problem is, this hits their most loyal customer group right away, those who buy materials, tools, and equipment almost every week. Many carpenters have stated frankly, Home Depot used to be an easier place for us to work. Now, sometimes it makes things more difficult. But the story doesn't end there. Because when you dig a little deeper, you'll discover a rather interesting reason behind this 48-hour policy. And that reason is directly related to a huge amount of money that Home Depot is making. We'll talk about that shortly. Don't miss out. Now, for the slightly more interesting part, because when you look at the 48-hour return policy, the natural question arises, why does Home Depot do that? Do they simply want to reduce the number of returned items? Maybe. But when you delve a little deeper, you'll find the story doesn't seem so simple. Many in the retail industry believe that this policy actually has a different objective. Encourage customers to use Home Depot's own credit cards. Because this is quite interesting. If you make purchases using a Home Depot credit card, you often receive some special benefits. For example, return periods may be longer, some policies are more flexible, and sometimes there are even installment payment programs. In other words, if you pay with cash or a regular card, the regulations can be quite strict. But if you use a Home Depot card, things suddenly become a little easier to breathe. Does that sound familiar? In fact, many large retail chains are doing the same thing. Lowe's also has its own credit card, and Walmart has been doing this for a long time. But what makes Home Depot controversial is how they adjust their policies to encourage customers to go in that direction. And the reason behind this is quite simple. Credit cards bring in a lot of money. It's not about selling wood, it's not about selling nails. These include interest rates, late fees, and extended payments. According to numerous industry estimates, Home Depot could earn more than $1 billion annually from its own credit card system. So when you look back at the 48-hour policy from that perspective, things start to seem a little more logical. However, this also caused discomfort for many carpenters, because they say that Home Depot used to be like a store for professionals, but now, sometimes it's more like a financial machine than a materials store. But that's not the only change. In fact, if you walk into a Home Depot today, you might notice something rather strange. This store no longer looks like a building materials store like it used to. We'll talk about that shortly. Oh, and if you enjoy stories like behind the scenes of big corporations like this, you might consider subscribing to the channel. I still have a few more interesting things I want to share. There's something quite interesting and also a little funny about stepping into a Home Depot today. In the old days, you went there to buy very obvious things: wood, a drill, screws, paint, and everything you needed to build a house. Simply put, Home Depot used to be like a builder's paradise. But now, if you take a walk around the store, sometimes you'll see things that make you stop and wonder, wait, is this really sold here? For example, kitchen utensils, Halloween decorations, Christmas items, and even kitchen gadgets like Chopzilla, a meat chopper. Some carpenters saw that and joked, I used to go to Home Depot to buy wood. Now I can buy burger-making supplies too. It sounds a bit funny, but behind this story lies a fairly clear business strategy. The problem with Home Depot is that they've almost reached their store growth ceiling. They have over 2,000 stores across the United States. In other words, you can barely open many more new stores. So when you can't expand your store network, what's the only way to increase revenue? Sell more things in one store. That's why you start seeing Home Depot selling more decorations, garden supplies, kitchenware, and so many other things you previously only saw at Walmart or Target. Meanwhile, their major competitor Lowe's is doing the same thing, expanding its product portfolio to attract more revenue from the same customer base. But this also felt quite strange to some carpenters, because when they walk into the store to buy wood, they don't really care about the onion chopper. And that's just one of many signs that Home Depot is changing the way they operate. But in reality, their biggest changes aren't on the shelves. It lies in the multi-billion-dollar acquisitions behind the scenes. We'll talk about that shortly. But if you think the changes at Home Depot are just about selling more kitchenware or tightening return policies, well, that's not the case. Their biggest changes are actually happening behind the scenes where few ordinary customers notice. In recent years, Home Depot has started spending money in a way that's not millions of dollars, but tens of billions of dollars. The biggest example is the acquisition of a company called SRS Distribution for approximately $18 billion. The name might sound a bit unfamiliar, but SRS Distribution is one of the major distributors specializing in supplying materials to roofers, construction companies, landscaping services, and pool maintenance. To put it more simply, these are businesses that specialize in selling materials to professional contractors, not to weekend retail buyers looking to repair their kitchen shelves. And that's the crucial point. Home Depot is trying to shift its focus to the professional customer segment. Not only that, they also went on to acquire another building materials distribution company for over $5 billion, specializing in supplying things like steel frames, drywalls, and building materials for large projects. If you put all these pieces together, you'll see a pretty clear strategy. Home Depot wants to be more than just a place to sell wood to weekend home repairers. They want to become a supply hub for the entire construction industry. Some people in the industry even joked that Home Depot is trying to become the Amazon of the construction industry. Meanwhile, their major rival Lowe's is doing the same thing, acquiring companies, expanding its supply network for contractors and construction firms. But interestingly, despite investing tens of billions of dollars in the professional market, many carpenters still feel that the in-store shopping experience is becoming more unpleasant. And that's why many people are starting to say that Home Depot is changing, but not exactly in the direction the builders want it to be. But there's another issue that many customers are uncomfortable with, and this time it relates to the AI cameras in Home Depot's parking lot. If you enjoy stories about what's going on inside, how big corporations operate, you can subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. Because the deeper you delve, the more interesting the story becomes. Now we're talking about another change at Home Depot, and this time the story starts to feel a little like an investigative film. If you've driven into the parking lots of some Home Depot stores recently, you've probably seen the new cameras installed quite clearly at the entrance to the parking lot. Initially, this sounded perfectly normal. Large retail stores have long faced a rather thorny problem: merchandise theft, especially things like drills, power saws, expensive tools. These items sometimes disappear from the shelves, faster than you can find a staff member to ask for their location. Therefore, Home Depot began deploying AI cameras in its parking lots, a system that can read license plates and track vehicles entering and leaving the store. In theory, the goal is quite simple to detect and prevent organized theft groups. That sounds reasonable. But the story began to stir controversy when concerns arose that data from these cameras could be shared with law enforcement agencies. And in some places, there have been reports of immigration raids taking place near Home Depot parking lots. Now, Home Depot says they are not directly involved in those activities. But the mere fact that these stories have surfaced has made many customers feel uncomfortable. Because one thing is pretty clear. Many of Home Depot's regular customers are builders, carpenters, home repairers, many of whom are immigrant workers. Those are the buyers, wood materials, tools, almost every week. And when they heard that cameras in parking lots could track license plates or share data, some people started to feel like they were being scrutinized a little too closely. Meanwhile, competitors like Lowe's also use security systems, but Home Depot has become the focus of this controversy. So when you put all the pieces together, from return policies and credit cards to AI cameras, you start to see a bigger picture. Home Depot is changing very rapidly, but the question is, are those changes really good for their customers? And the answer to that question may depend on a much larger factor: housing market. And now it's time for us to delve deeper into this issue. At this point, you might be thinking, okay, Home Depot has changed a lot, but why would they have to do all of this? The answer may lie in a much larger factor, and that is the housing market. In fact, Home Depot has long been seen as a kind of thermometer for the American economy. It's not because they sell wood better than others, but because when the housing market heats up, Home Depot almost explodes in revenue. Think of it simply like this. What do people usually do when they buy a new house? Repainting walls, replacing kitchen cabinets, installing shelves, repairing the garden, buying machinery and materials. And guess where those things are usually bought? Home Depot. But the problem is that in recent years the housing market has been in a rather strange state. Interest rates on home loans have risen sharply. Mortgage loans are more expensive. And many people are holding on to their homes instead of selling them. In the real estate industry, this phenomenon is known as mortgage lock-in effect. Simply put, if you have a home loan with a 3% interest rate, you wouldn't want to sell your house to buy another one with a 7% interest rate. What was the result? Fewer people are buying houses. Fewer people are moving house. And there are also fewer home renovation projects. That means stores like Home Depot sell less. And that's why many experts believe Home Depot's recent changes, from new policies to acquisitions, are all ways they're preparing for a tougher economic period. Meanwhile, rivals like Lowe's are also facing a similar situation. No one is truly immune when the housing market slows down. So when you look back at everything we just talked about, from 48-hour policies, credit cards, AI cameras to acquisitions, you'll see they all relate to a bigger story. Home Depot is trying to adapt to a changing market. But the big question is, Will these changes make them stronger? Or will they only make customers more frustrated? We'll conclude this story with a rather interesting thought shortly. After all the changes we've just discussed, perhaps the most practical question is, if you still shop at Home Depot, what should you do to avoid trouble? Actually, there are a few quite simple tips. First, if you buy large appliances like a refrigerator, washing machine, or machinery, check them as soon as possible. Don't let it sit in the garage or construction site for a week before opening the box, because with the 48-hour return policy, checking immediately can help you avoid quite a lot of hassle. The second tip is to compare prices with Lowe's before buying. These two chains often compete very closely, and sometimes Lowe's will have more flexible policies, different promotions, or simply a slightly more pleasant service. Tip 3. If you purchase materials frequently, especially as a carpenter or mason, make sure to thoroughly research the programs available for professional customers. Some offers only apply to this group of customers, and sometimes it helps save quite a bit of money. And the final tip, it may sound a bit funny, but always keep the receipt and read the return policy before making a purchase, because major retail stores change their policies faster than we think. But I also want to hear your opinion. Do you often buy materials at Home Depot? Or do you prefer Lowe's? Please share your experience in the comments section. And if you enjoy videos that decode how large corporations actually operate, you can subscribe to the channel because there are still many interesting stories ahead. At this point, a big question is, will these changes make them stronger, or just annoy customers more? We will conclude this story with a rather interesting thought right after this. So, looking back at the whole story, one thing is quite clear. Home Depot is changing very rapidly in 2026. From return policies and credit card strategies to multi-billion-dollar acquisitions and AI camera systems in parking lots, everything shows that this company is trying to adapt to a changing market. But the big question remains, will these changes really make Home Depot stronger? Or are they leaving even its most loyal customers, such as carpenters and builders, feeling left behind? I really want to hear your opinion. What do you think of the 48-hour return policy? In your opinion, are Home Depot or Lowe's doing better right now? And do you think the housing market will recover in 2026? Or will it get even harder? Please leave your thoughts in the comments. I'm very curious to read them. If you enjoy videos that analyze how large corporations actually operate behind the scenes, you might consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss the next videos. And a small note, the content in this video is for analysis and discussion only, not for financial or investment advice. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again in the next video.